Okay, Highgate Society Poetry Group, our first meeting. It's me, my name is Richard, although I'm appearing tonight as Eva Highgate, and right home with my friend and colleague Wendy Young, who's going to start us on our first one. After you,
Okay,
Wendy.
hello. Thanks, Richard. This one's called Cutting Ties. First time ever reading this. Cutting Ties. I have never spent a whole day in my pyjamas, said he. You don't wear no pyjamas, said she. Oh, well, not since school then. And she resists spouting, your mother is your pyjamas. Those who left the nest too soon untied the aprons with little thought, amble in dressing gown days, while those who carefully undid their strings proudly flaunt their get up and go. The Armani tie cut at the Italian wedding gave an assured release. She going through changes again, and he sustains the path dug and laid, bare for him to follow. Thank you.
Super. One thing I really liked about it, that was I wrote a poem today about my experience of staying in bed a lot. And so it's nice to hear pyjamas because I never even mentioned it. And I really liked that kind of your mother is your pyjamas. I thought that was a really good line.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm just put my earphones in so that I can hear better. And it's funny, going through my folder, I realise I've been finding stuff that I've written and completely forgot about. And you know, there's a few poems you actually concentrate on because you rehearse, that you recite. And then you go through and you find all these little gems. They need work on. I think that's my problem. Yeah. Working on stuff. I wish I had more studiousness, whatever well, exactly the one I cut me ties, and no plan in life, and no I don't know what you were like at school, but I definitely lost the plot, and so yeah.
I was quite mixed at school. A lot of me was a nice bloke, quiet bloke, and then from time to time I get kind of really angry. But in particular, I'd get angry with teachers and adults, and I'd argue and get upset, maybe have a fight with them. But anyway, I'm going to start with this song, and I don't know if it was 2 Conservative conferences ago or if it was 3 Conservative conferences ago, but something really annoyed me. It was when Theresa May was Prime Minister and she had the nerve and the effrontery to quote Sam Cooke, "A change is going to come."
You what?
But she actually said a change is going to come. She actually quoted the kind of black civil rights bloody struggle.
Yeah.
And it amazed me that nobody else picked up on this and nobody else felt angry about it. But I did. So I wrote a little song called The Song of Saint Teresa, which is kind of based on a history, highlights of a career. And it goes, I was born by the water in a middle-class town. My daddy made my head wet in a baptism gown. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know an unwanted change is gonna come. It was too hard in Merton, so I just had to fly, 'cause I knew I'd be needed in a muddled blue thinking sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know this unwanted change is gonna come. Right, so I don't know how the actual bridge goes, but I thought I was in a movie when I shadowed disabled people. They were a lot more challenging than I'd heard at, at my dad's steeple. It's been a long time coming, but I know an unwanted change is going to come. And then I became Prime Minister, unelected, kept all my plans quiet and sinister. For I knew it's been a long time coming, and I'm going to make an unwanted change come. Oh, yes, I will.
Very good, yeah. Oh, that's really good. And I love that song.
It's a great song. I wish I could sing it like Sam Cooke.
Well, I heard about it because I had an Aretha Franklin album and she did a fantastic version of it. But it just really gets you in the guts, doesn't it? But the thought of Theresa May saying a change is going to come, a change is going to come. It's just, oh, God, sickening, isn't it, really? Yeah. Oh, dear.
But the history, is it started with Sam Cooke? Aretha did it, yeah. Convotus Redding's has a version of it as well. That's worth checking out.
I'll bet. Yeah, the greats have done it. Yeah. Okay. Shall I? I think it's good doing stuff that we've never performed. Well, I've never performed before, so I'm going to do this one. This is a funny one. I just got this in my head one day, and it's sort of more of a little story, and it's about Shelley the egg. And it's called Cracked Egg Tour. I love it because you get me, Richard. Cracked Egg Tour. Once upon a time, there was a little egg called Shelley who wanted to be famous. Shelley tried the performing arts, like poetry and performance, but just never cracked it as an egg tour. Shelley played the Doom Prince omelette. On some nights, a very cheesy omelette, but solidified. Is it to B&B or Hotel Cleo Patronizer that my digs should be? Oh, that's a bit shit. What a ham, what on earth. Shelley was panned, boiled in oil and fled, but all shell, the end shell, and Shelley came out of his shell at Easter in a variety of tasty rolls. Hilarious yolks, poached by executive producers. Fans scrambled to be near the existential Shelley. The most exciting egg tour of his generation. Shoes named after him, poetry written and whispered in his shell-like. And sure as eggs is eggs, he married Samantha Egger and had a dozen little Shelleys.
Lovely. Excellent.
Excellent, yeah.
I'm just trying to plug in my kind of earphones as well. I don't know if I can. No, it's all poo, my computer. Let's had a bit of news today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen my podcast on Facebook.
No. Podcast, no.
Okay, I did a podcast on Sunday, There's a 10-year-old 10-year-old Asian girl called Leela, who's up on our top floor. We're on the first floor, she's on the 5th floor. And she's been doing a podcast called kind of Lockdown with Leela. And so I was a third interview, and she called me today to say that disabled activists in India were showing it to disabled kids.
Wow.
I thought that's quite a nice little story.
Yes.
And it leads me nicely to this poem called Exploring Exile, which is one of my conservation poems. Exploring Exile. Winter, cold, days are getting longer. Winter, hibernation, sleep, as always, makes us stronger. Longer and stronger, by a fire heating the earth, reflecting in flames, burning to an ember before ash, burning and reflecting on who we were, what we had, dreams we made, work we gave, before planning, before policy. Dreaming and working, making and giving, making and giving. Who we were when we were young, way back in time, in springtime which now returns, finding us reborn but different, older, less hopeful, resigned, finding us resigned to a loss we fought to save, our place in time a flicker, rename, regeneration. Dreaming and working, making and giving, dreaming and working, making and giving. Stronger in sunshine, we find a key within to unlock those things we never truly lost. Real things, making us who we are, returning refreshed to what we have again. Renewed strength in friends we made, the things which were gave, strong because we know a name. Making and giving, dreaming and working, making and giving, dreaming and working. Exiled from a place, this is of our time in exile, but our deeds, our work, our dreams never met with exile. And so we dream, and so we work, and so we make, and so we give. And as we give those things we made from within, our work built in our dreams, we feel a long way off from exile.
Oh, beautiful. Have you read that before?
No.
Ah, yeah, it's lovely. It's great. It's a great word, exile, isn't it? Egg. Yeah. Egg again. Exile. Sorry. Yeah, it's gorgeous. What inspired that then again? Sorry, what?
Okay, this is a conservation campaign that I got involved with locally to save our town hall.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Where the inspiration actually comes from is in front of our town hall we've got a square, and on that square we've got a tree, and that tree was planted by Amnesty International to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And so I was writing a poem for each article within the key declaration, and the ninth article is about accommodating people in exile. So,
oh, it's gorgeous, yeah. Lovely. What shall I read? I've got one here that I found. It's. Do you remember there was a drama called Bouquet of Barbed Wire?
no.
Oh well, this is
Oh,
called.
yeah, I do, yeah.
Well,
I'm
this is
sorry, I
called.
misheard you.
No, this is
A
called.
bouquet of barbed wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on a long time ago, and this is called Bouquet of Barbed Liars. It's written a couple of years ago, I have to say, but I've never read it. It's just something I found. Bouquet of Barbed Liars. Stuart Rose goes from failing shop to poking his nose, advising managers how to liaise with us, the NHS plebs. That's it, really.
So
It was
who's
that.
Stuart Rose?
He was that bloke. I think he was in charge of M&S. Not M. It must have. I think it's, or was it Tesco? Somebody who was failing. I think it might. He was one of them lot.
Right.
And then they were on about getting his advice about the NHS, as they always do. They always, oh, Tesco should run the NHS. One of them.
Yeah.
That's so. But it's a few years ago now. So, but I just like the title, you know, and his name's Rose, you know. So,
yeah.
A rose by any other name. Eh?
But a rose rhymes with grows and rhymes with nose and all kinds of things. It's a good name, yeah.
No, she knows, you know. Yeah. But, yeah, Rose knows. Yeah, he's probably got one of them. A quaffer. Shall I do another little one, or?
Yeah, go on.
I'll try and find something. Blower bee, I think. Oh, just trying to get it up. Did you see I invited you to the daily haiku? You're probably
I did, yeah.
You're probably too busy now with all you're doing, as your podcasts and what have you. Right,
yeah, I can't keep up with people.
Yeah, that's all right. But the daily haiku, for anybody who listens to this, it's a nice thing sometimes just to express, you know, especially as we're all trying to get out to nature now and stuff, and that's what it's all about, haiku. And it's just a nice, quick way, although sometimes it's really hard. Like John Cooper Clarke said, he never finished one. So this is Blower Bee. Now I know to mourn the wasp, slalomed in the curtain. He doesn't know how to get free. Now I know to blow a bee, not panic. He's lost like me. Now I know my belly needs to swell to breathe properly. Now I know how to sing. I've got a diaphragm to help me. Now I know to digest. Don't have to stress. I deserve to eat. Yeah, that needs work on it, doesn't it? But I think when you read it out, you realise that it should. But it was actually. Have you ever been to Chiltern Open Air Museum?
Have I?
Been to Chiltern Open Air Museum?
No.
Oh, well, it's a nice place. It's you know, in the Chilterns, and there was a bloke making candles from beeswax, and you know, I always panicked when a bee came around and a wasp, you know, buzz buzz buzz, and it's just like, oh God. It's like I had to write something for a wasp that I killed. I still feel bad, but I didn't realise it was just trying to get out the curtains. It was frustrating, and it buzzes even more. But that's the, you wake up and you hear the and now I realise, you see, I'm a bit slow on the uptake with all that. But the bee, he said, a bee came near me, and of course this bloke was very, he's a bit obsessive. Right? I went, oh, get away. And he said, you don't have to react like that. He said, just blow it. So that's where that came about. And it's a bit like, like don't panic kind of thing, and just blow it. And like the thing about, now I know how to breathe because I never really breathed properly.
Yeah.
I actually used to think, until I started acting classes, and when I started performing, when I started having voice classes and all that, singing classes, it's the best thing for me because I thought you breathed in and your stomach went in as well. It sounds mad, but I did.
No, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think because of my childhood trauma, that was it was that kind of thing. But obviously I've stayed alive, so I must be breathing properly. But if I'm on, it's good. It's I'm glad I have for some reason. Now I found poetry, but because I never had to. Once I was in a panicky situation, I'd just go, and everything went in. But then I learned, no, you breathe in and your belly swells. And that's where you get confidence to sing and everything, and learning about your diaphragm and stuff like that, I suppose I'm preaching to the choir here with the breathing thing, because so that's why I'm so up on breathing. And when I did this voluntary poetry group at Tashford Place in Cricklewood, I did a little breathing thing with our eyes closed before we actually started doing anything.
Right.
And people loved it. And I think it's a really good thing. And then start writing, but just to, breathe. Oh God, sometimes I forget still, but if I concentrate, but at least I know the proper way to breathe now, and that the thing about deserving to eat, in that last verse, I deserve to eat, it's like that's something, and I suppose it's a metaphor for everything. I actually I do deserve stuff, do you know what that feels like? Like you feel undeserving or you're not entitled. Yeah, that thing. So it's funny. I mean, I don't know if people would get that from that poem. I don't know if. I mean, they say less is more. I suppose people might get it. I don't know.
Well, I thought it was a beautiful poem from a sad story. And so, and again, that final line about being deserving enough to eat really hit home with me. Because I know other people who haven't eaten, and I know other people who have eaten too much. But eating is not something. It's not something that's been too much of a problem for me. But I had a problem with this poem called On Comprehende. It comes from an art instruction from Yoko Ono, and I work a lot with Yoko Ono's art instructions. And I was reading one art instruction she did, and I didn't understand it at all. So if this poem sounds a bit confused, that's because I was. And it's called it's called non comprende. To tell the truth, I just don't understand. The way this juice runs marks the page, changes it from pure white to blurred grey, with words written in a second language that don't speak in accordance with any law. I'm confused by the way you said that. I couldn't get the meaning. You said it was instructive. It wasn't. Descriptive, I'd give you that, I would. An act of kindness in strange times. I didn't see his ghost. The second person. I thought you found yourself impossibly twisted by unnatural yogic positions, but looking back to these buildings as I do, the short, fat, ugly one, the tall, thin beauty, well, it makes sense now. He was there, she was too, in watching her work, standing close by, watching a typeface splatter, black-grey words across paper matter, reflecting back a situation that, given time to understand and finally recognise, empathise with, and reflect back, yes, I know that situation. I've been there, I've done that, I've got the sacred t-shirt, except, of course, I missed out on a loving situation, as my own grey ghost bring only fear, sweat, and laceration.
Yes, brilliant. You should send that to Yoko. God, imagine. Did you understand it in the end then, or did you?
Yes, I understand it finally. He was talking about sitting at a desk with somebody else at her side and kind of writing stuff on a page, but because when I read it, I didn't recognise she had put a second person in it. I just completely lost it, and it took me a time. I had to go back and read it again and spot that second person who kind of appears as a ghost and understood that she loved him and
Well, it's a good job you didn't understand it because you got that great poem out of it, didn't you? So, as I heard somebody on the BBC, I think it was Richard Curtis who wrote. He's written all that stuff like Blackadder and I don't know, some films, comedy, right? But he said, if you don't do anything wrong, you don't do anything, and I think that's true, isn't it? You know, so you got that great poem out of it. You should send it to her.
Yes, let's say so. Read me another one.
Let's have a look, see what I've got. It's good, this, isn't it? That's one thing you can do about being home, and you know. Right, what's that? Sorry, I'm just looking in my folder, and my computer's a bit crap. Right, this one is called Been There, Seen That, Forgot It. Been to all these gigs, shows and events, happenings, and only remember when my memory's jogged, seeing a reunion tour. Walking past a venue that's closing down, Hammersmith Palais, the Astoria. Oh yeah, I think. I saw this, that, there, then. Apart from the tickets I kept and the flyers given, bought no brochures, didn't waste money then. I'll find a reminder from way back and say to myself, I saw them now when I'm in the charity shop. Add it to my box with a Susie Sue backstage pass, Killing Joke ticket, 250? You got a lot. A stub for our chaos, who started off small, but got big and imploded. An alternative circus who ate itself. Is that what happens when you've lived too long? Oh no, love, that's a Bowie line. He said, I don't know if you got that then.
But what was happening to me there, what kind of you're talking about is quite a common experience. And I started thinking about this kind of band called Meal Ticket. And I used to have a cassette of meal tickets. And this cassette got stolen, and I've never been able to find it since. Right, and of course, at the top of our road, we've got the Boogaloo. And on the wall outside, we've got a painting. And it says something about playing cards with a one-armed man called Doc. Yeah, don't ever play cards with a one-armed man called Doc. Which I thought was a good piece of advice. And it's up on that wall. And I thought, yeah, I know where that line comes from. It comes from Meal Ticket. Right, and I've looked for Meal Ticket on Google. I've looked for them on allmusic.com. I can't find Meal Ticket anywhere. A couple of weeks ago, I was walking in Crouch End, and in a charity shop window was this album by a band called Meal Ticket. And I thought, I thought to myself, if I still bought records as bad and tatty as Meal Ticket looks now, I would go and buy it and spend time listening to a song kind of giving you kind of good advice about kind of not playing cards with a one-armed man called Doc. But so all of that was going on in my head, and so I missed the actual end of it.
Yeah, I realised that's why you do need to rehearse poems, but because the last line, it's obvious it's all about, because I mean, I'm sure you as well, been to so many gigs and what have you, and what, the last one was, it was a Bowie line. Oh no, love, that's a Bowie line. That's it. Because of all those gigs you've been to, the venues, and you've been reminded when you go in a charity shop because you see the records or whatever, because they're all in there now. And even cassettes are making. My friend who's got a retro vinyl business and makes a lot of money in it, he says cassettes are the big thing. I said, Christ, I chucked out loads, and I couldn't be bothered with them anyway. It was CDs are better really because you can find the trap, but so the charity shop thing and seeing them and then remembering, I saw that band. Is this what happens when you've lived too long? Oh no, love, that's a Bowie line. Because that's from. Is it from Rock and Roll Suicide?
It might be.
I think it is. When you live too long. Oh no, love, that's a Bowie line. So really, if I rehearse that, that'll be a lot better. And that's a music one.
It's interesting. One of the things we're doing on kind of lockdown is we're playing all of the mixtapes I made for Jean when both of us were younger and kind of loved each other, which I made. Right, anyway, I'm going to read you a story. You've had a story. I'm going to read you a story. This one's called Self-Service Psychiatry. And it's quite a true story, but it comes in two parts. I went to a care program approach meeting, the first one I'd been to in 4 years. They've missed me out 8 times. He says there's been a lot of reorganisation. We reorganised our office, our department, co-working. But I'm sorry if you find it hard. But I'm sorry that you found it hard and our excellence is hard for you to tolerate. His head's down here. His head's down. Here comes an assessment form. Are you delusional? No. Do kind of you know what delusional is? Yes. Is where kind of you think you are being spied on? Is it? Do you understand it is? If you say so, good. Then kind of you know what delusional is, and you are not, because I have explained it to you, and you agree with me, so we can agree that you are not delusional. I tried to break his yoke. Would you like to introduce yourself? I am the psychiatrist. Should the psychiatrist have a name? Yes, of course I do. Would the psychiatrist like to tell us what his name is? I am Dr. Astripolupazine. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I'm partially deaf. I am Dr. Strepolupaclav. Pardon, I cannot hear you. I am Dr. Hasmani Clavacine. There's no need to shout, Doctor. Whatever your name is. Calm down, go slow, show some sensitivity. Believe there is an outside chance that everybody in this room is a human being. I am the psychiatrist. I have a job to do. I have to fill out this form. I have until 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, the office closes. We will not be able to get out. I might have to give you a prescription too. I'm sorry, I have to leave at 5 to 5. No, the office closes at 5. We will stay until then. I have to leave at 5 to 5. But no buts, Doctor. My car is parked on a meter. I do not want to pay a £60 fine just because you have a form to fill. Are you paranoid? Only about getting a parking ticket. The following day, I am talking to an activist about quality of customer care. She believes that this is a good analogy for mental health services. If you go out into the world and go to banks or go to shops, you will find that customers get treated like shit, and so it is in psychiatry. The customer care model fits exactly here. We discuss a possibility of self-service psychiatry. Stand in a queue, go to a machine, press A for facile, press B for couldn't care less, C for stupid, T for confrontational. I press some T. Right, an hologram of my psychiatrist appears. I am your psychiatrist. Why are you wasting my time?
So that's you're turning, he's the one who ends up losing the plot. Yeah.
Right, as often happens, I think.
Yeah, so it's tables turned and the form filling, yeah, ticking the boxes. Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Have you read that out before?
No.
Oh, brill. Oh, it's great, isn't it, all this? It's What shall I read now? How long do you want to go on, till 8?
Yeah, it's good, yeah. I can one more each.
Okie dokie. Oh, God, trying to find something. All right, I'll do this one. Breakfast at Epiphany's. I had breakfast at Epiphany's, just me, myself, and I. Read myself the diet act. Found myself on the menu. Fancy that. My crisis was arisen. The girl I used to be placed an order for the woman running, the she-wolf eating inside. Which is a bit... I know there's another version of that, but anyway, it'll do.
Yeah, I think I've heard that one. Breakfast at Epiphany's great title.
Yeah, I like playing on words. Yeah.
I must get one myself. Anyway, Wendy, my last poem for tonight is called Discrepancy. I went to a special school when I was a kid, and it wasn't kind of great. And a couple of years ago, I decided I had to kind of go back and see it. And so I did. And something strange happened. Standing by your locked gate, my inner core is iron, my outer shell is tin. Hit me with a hammer to let my pastimes in. I turn to drink as I try zinc to get my red corpuscles moving. For being here beside you has left me totally still.
Wow. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Have you seen a film called Oranges and Sunshine?
No.
Oh, well, it might still be on BBC iPlayer, and it's a heart wrencher. It's a true story, and it's about this social worker in Nottingham, and she's played by Emily Watson, who's superb, and it's about all these kids, even up to the 1970s, who were there was this scheme by the British and Australian government to send all these kids to Australia that were from disadvantaged homes, and they lied to them and said that their mum was dead, all sorts, and it was to Perth, to this Bindu, this godforsaken place, to the Christian Brothers, and these kids were abused and beaten, put to work in this horrible place or in houses, and it's just and it's funny because there's a character in it who ends up being really successful, and he's actually paid for a swimming pool and things like that in this Christian Brothers. So he takes the social worker there. She don't want to go, and but it's like he can go in there with pride because he's put money back in. He said, "I paid them back, Margaret." She said, "You don't have to pay anything." He said, "Yeah," but in his madness was a method in his madness, because he could walk in there. And it's just brilliant. I've seen every time it's on. It really is heart wrenching. But it happened unbelievably. And when I remember my mother saying she didn't want to tell whoever about me and my father because she thought they'd take me away, because I suppose she knew there was something. She had, you know, there was something that they would just take the kid away, kind of thing. And who knows? I mean, so there you are. But if you can, Oranges and Sunshine, it's just brilliant. But
Yeah.
but it
Well,
just
to
shows you the
happen,
things that have gone on. But
yeah.
it's going back, like your poem, it's brilliant. And it's like going back to that place. I've done it myself, gone back to where I grew up. And it's, it's that Forrest Gump moment, isn't it? With the little girl goes back to the house where she grew up. I don't know if you've seen Forrest Gump.
I have seen Forrest Gump, but I don't remember it. I don't tend to remember films. With this Australian story, I know this because a friend of mine who lives quite close to you in a place called Kember Road. I don't know if you know Kember Road. It's off
Kemper,
Chamberlain Road. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
I've got a friend who lives on Kember Road. Right, he's lived in Alston most of his life. One day he's at home and suddenly somebody comes and knocks on his door. Right, he opens it and he hears someone speaking to him and saying, right, I am your brother. I was transported to Australia 50 years ago. Right, I don't know if you kind of know this. And he said, kind of no, right, I know nothing about this. I've got to talk to me mom. Right, and his mom was still alive and they explained it all. I think at first it was kind of good for them to kind of get together, but like it all went pear-shaped. Anyway, these things happen. So I have recorded all of this, Wendy. I'll save it. I'll tell kind of you where it is. And keep an eye open for my podcast, which has been seen in India.
Yeah, will do. And do you know when the 3 Angry Poets will happen? Do you know?
No, I put in an application, and that's all I know.
All
It
right.
might happen, it might not. But I don't know.
But anyway, we can still do it on here, can't we? We
Yeah.
can still. It don't have to be paid. It's
Yeah.
been brilliant, Richard. It's lovely having this. Just very luxurious.
And also have a
She's
chat
here.
about poetry.
The missus is here. Hello.
Hi, how you
Hello,
coping,
Jean.
Wendy?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Up and down, but I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
I think most people are.
These online gigs are saving me. I'm just like, thank God I've got poetry, because I've had 2-3 friends who are alcoholics in hospital. Peter and my brother, I found out, died on the same day, April the 9th. So it's just been a bizarre time, you know. But the online poetry gig, thank God I've got poetry. Yeah. And Richard, yay.
What about him?
He's all right, isn't he? He's not too bad.